Well, if you're watching us, I hope that you're concerned about your neighbors and the people around you coming to know Christ. You know, Norma, that's easy to forget about. It's easy to just be concerned about our own family and our own little thing, don't you think?
Yeah, but that's not what Jesus said.
That's not what Jesus said. And we have with us today Shannon Lawhorn. Shannon, welcome to the program.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
And Shannon, you've written a book. We have it here, Reaching the City for the King.
Yes.
And it says, God's Blueprint for Effective Outreach Ministry in the Inner City. And I love that title. What led you to write that book?
Well, many years ago when I was 10 years old, it was a gentleman by the name of Mr. Floyd. He was an outreach minister, and he would just go through the community. He was full of love and excitement about the Lord. And he touched my heart. And from that very moment, I never forgot about him. In many years, because he planted that seed, I got saved. And not only did I got saved, but my whole household got saved.
Wow.
So I was just blessed by that, and I drummed up the courage to be able to write a book many years later about that experience and shape my book around that.
So do you feel like you'd like to see Christians be more like Mr. Floyd there?
Yes.
Continue to, if I remember correctly, he just came and just like you said, you shared the love of God, and wasn't necessarily, your mother didn't necessarily receive it real well.
Not at all, but it's just, one plants, one waters, but God does the increase.
Were you the first one in your family to accept the Lord after you met Him?
My mother was. She was the first, and then I came, and then my brothers and my sisters. So that's it. Even though she was more resistant, she was the first to get saved in my household.
What do you think of, there's a lot of churches, sometimes suburban churches, they'll come into the city, they'll have a heart, and they want to do something. What do you think about that? What do you think about churches trying to do things like that? And is there anything lacking in that or wrong with that?
I think most importantly, you have to really get to know the area. Don't believe what you see on television, the crime rates and all that kind of thing. People are people. No matter what color, no matter what neighborhood, we all have the same basic needs. And if we go with the love, like with Mr. Floyd, love transcends all communities, all races, all colors, and all economic backgrounds.
Well, just this week in the news, there was a story about a little boy, 5 years old,
yes,
who was in his own home, and he got killed.
Yeah.
And I was so excited that you were coming to be on the program, because I think people get discouraged when they hear things like that.
That's true.
And I was talking to one of our employees about it, and he said, well, people just leave Jesus out of their lives.
That's true.
I've been, I used to do a lot of inner city ministry in a lot of New York City, and I remember thinking, well, this isn't so bad in here. You'd be in these neighborhoods,
right,
people didn't necessarily want to go, but a lot of you see movies and they hype the crime.
Right.
But then there is the side where there is real crime.
Exactly.
And there's real problems. Now, let me ask you this. For a church that wants to go in, they want to do or maybe they're already there. It's a church that's located right there in the neighborhood. What can they do to do something that's lasting, something that really makes an impression, not just, a few people respond one day and that's it? What can they do that's lasting?
The most important thing is building relationships. See, a lot of times you can go in with a lot of services, you can go in feeding the people and trying to clothe and things. That thing will only last but for so long. But building those relationships, that's what helps build long-lasting relationships.
You mean let's say I'm from a church and I went once. I need to keep going back and back and back.
Exactly. Reaching out to the people. Having people, especially if they come to your church, have them over for dinner. Actually get to know them. The things they like to do, the things that they don't like to do, where they like to go. Building a relationship, mentoring families. I think that's key. That's why we have a lot of times there's a revolving door in church where people come but they don't stay because there's no connectedness.
How about you? Have you a story that you could tell us about someone that you made a relationship with and there. Can you tell us about one?
Yes, I think when we first joined the first church when my mother got saved, and we joined the church in Lawrenceville, and it was a family with a young man the same age as me, and the mother was a mother, and she had some children and a father, and they really embraced us, brought us in, invited us over their home for dinner, and just showed us just the love of God. And not only were we embraced by that love, but we were able to share the love of God with other families. And we did the same thing. So they mentored us, and we mentored other families.
So sometimes I think we can get caught up in the numbers, like we go in and have a crusade, let's say, and a lot of people respond, and there's nothing wrong with that. I've done a lot of that myself, and I believe in that sort of thing. But then you don't want to just leave, and then everybody's kind of like spiritual infants, just sort of right there. So you're saying, you said a key word in mentoring.
Yes.
And I know that even beyond Mr. Floyd that was influential in your life, wasn't there a couple other people that also kept that mentoring process going?
I think one of the most impactful people in my life was a gentleman by the name of Tim Blenerick. He's my mentor as far as outreach ministry. This gentleman, I look up to him so. He traveled the world, primarily in Southeast Asia. That's where he currently is now. He's in Singapore as a family pastor. And he taught me so much, and he showed me about the dedication that you need in order for you to make a great impact in anywhere you go. And he's just a great guy, and he really blessed me through our relationship and how the love that his family showed me.
Well, there's something that you are involved with called the Bridge Builder Network. Could you explain to us what that is? What bridges are you trying to build, and what are you seeing success in?
That's a company that just started just a few weeks ago, actually. 2 months old. But what it is, it's a company that brings Christians together, civic leaders, pastors together to bring about resources to share with each other. And I think it's important that we as a church body need to share our resources to help communities become stronger.
All right. So can anybody be involved in that? Or?
Yes. You can go to my website, www.thebridgebuildersnetwork.org, and get on, and you can become a member. And if you have any events that you would like to advertise, it's for free.
Okay, wonderful. The name of the book is Reaching the City for the King, and there's a picture of it. And I hope that you out there that are watching are interested in reaching your city, your neighborhood, your area for the King. That is, Norma said it. That's what we're called to do. That's what we're here for, is to touch other lives. So we want you to get a copy of this book and really get involved.
How do they get a copy?
Well,
you can get that copy on my website.
Okay.
You can order it directly from me.
Go to the website, get a copy of that book, and begin to change your city for Jesus. And we're going to have a great story of what God did in someone's life coming up right after this.